Well, welcome viewers. This is episode 4 in the series, The Relationship Narcissist. I'm Dr. J.W. Ayub, theologist. The Relationship Narcissist and the Inner Courtroom. The Relational Narcissist does not only argue with you in conversation. They teach you to keep arguing with yourself after they leave the room. This is where narcissists cause trauma bond. Narcissistic relational erosion becomes dangerous when the victim begins carrying the narcissist's accusations internally and starts prosecuting themselves without evidence. I remember I was in a relationship with she didn't appear to be a covert narcissist until covert emotional incest broke out in the relationship triangulated, and the sons began to attack the relationship. They began to attack me to get supremacy back over the mother because they were losing supply because the mother was investing herself into the relationship. She hadn't had a relationship for a while, and the accusations started. And the accusations were so good that I started to doubt whether I started to question whether what they were saying was true about me, because she wanted to do the right thing and everything. But I held on. I've gone, that's not true. This is what these narcs are good at. They're good at convincing you they're right and you're wrong. And so, teaching point number 1, viewers. The narcissist plants the charge against you. And just let me say, in the scriptures, the devil's called the accuser. And this is all demonic. This is where the demonic aspects come into play. The relational narcissist often begins by dropping accusations, doubts, insinuations, and subtle criticisms that do not fully resolve. And one of the things that I battled with was the unresolved. I could not bring to a conclusion the unresolved in these relations. There was always some kind of unresolved. And the aim of all of this wasn't truth. The aim was internal disturbance. Accusations like, you're too sensitive, you always misunderstand, no one else would put up with you, you're the problem, you make everything difficult. Teaching point number 2. The victim starts defending themselves internally. You're not engaging in it, but you're starting to work out where the reality is here, because it's so far-fetched. After repeated exposure to this kind of abuse, it's called narcissistic abuse, the victim starts replaying conversations, explaining themselves mentally, rehearsing arguments, and trying to prove their innocence inside their own mind. This is going on, and you're not even with the person. I can fully relate to this, and this creates exhaustion without resolution. Replaying old conversations, preparing for future attacks, doubting obvious facts, explaining yourself to someone not listening, and feeling guilty without clear wrongdoing. Teaching point number 3, viewers. Inner litigation becomes emotional captivity. These accusations have got you in such an element of confusion and doubt, you're now an emotional captive to yourself, while they're just getting on with what they're going to do. And the narcissist wins ground when the victim becomes trapped in permanent self-defense. And the thing about this self-defense is, it's not usually up against the narcissist. It's playing out inside your mind. And instead of living, thinking, building, and resting, the person becomes mentally occupied by the narcissist's courtroom. And the narcissist has a way of putting that courtroom inside your head. So the battle's going on and the narcissist isn't even in sight. Loss of peace, loss of confidence, loss of emotional clarity, loss of spontaneous joy, loss of independent judgment. And depression, one of the first signs of depression in all of this is a disinterest in your common and usual hobbies. If you're falling away from your hobbies and you're lethargic and fatigued and you've lost interest in, say, fishing, motorcycle riding, things like this, that's the first sign of depression coming out of the narcissist's courtroom that they've put in your head. Here's a practical example. A partner makes a cold comment. You always make things about yourself. The conversation ends, but the inner trial begins. For hours, you start mentally reviewing every word, every facial expression, every past mistake, trying to prove that you're not selfish. The narcissist has left the room, but the accusation now lives rent-free inside your mind. Tell me if I'm wrong. So let's reflect. What accusation have you continued defending yourself against long after the conversation has ended in your mind? Ask yourself. Okay, why not stop treating every accusation as evidence? Why not? Why not refuse to defend yourself against vague emotional charges? Why not end the internal trial when there is no honest judgment present? Why? Why do you feel guilty before the facts are examined? This is how narcissism works. Why do you keep answering someone who never intended to understand? The narcissist is not going to understand, even if they do. And that's why they get the courtroom in your mind. The courtroom is the trauma bond. And why has their accusation, remember, the devil is the great accuser, gained more authority than your own conscience? This is how powerful it is. Why has their accusation gained more authority in your mind than your own conscience? You've got to ask yourself why. So let's take some immediate action. Write down one accusation that keeps replaying in your mind. It's called rumination. And beside it, write, this is a charge, not a verdict. This is a charge, this is an accusation, but not a verdict. Because sometimes these accusations, usually, and most of the time, are wrong. It's to give the narcissist supremacy, hierarchy over your mind while they're abusing you. There's no narcissist in sight. The narc's gone off to do other things, to find other supply. And you're battling away in your mind, in your space, on your own. That's the invasion. That's the narcissism. That's the narcissism. That's how it works. Here's a proverb. Better is the quiet mind guarded by truth than the weary soul that answers every false accusation. I'm going to say that again. Better is the quiet mind guarded by truth. Guard your mind with the truth than the weary soul that answers every false accusation. So in closing, viewers, the accusation you keep rehearsing will eventually feel like your identity. If you continue defending yourself inside a courtroom that the narcissist has built, it's all fantasy and imagination, you will lose peace without ever receiving justice. You see, there's no end to it. It just continues on. That's the narcissism. But when you separate accusation from truth, you begin reclaiming your own mind. But you've got to believe the truth, not the accusation. A free person does not let a false witness become the judge. Become the judge. Here's an example. When Jesus was crucified, they deliberately sent false witnesses to testify against him. But the Lord knew the truth. He was still crucified, but in his mind he was at peace on the cross. Whatever your cross is, whatever your narcissist has done to get you in the courtroom that they've put in your mind, come back to the truth. Accept the truth. Say, no, that is not true about me. Allow the truth to set you free. Put boundaries up against the narcissist. Detach. Instead of trying to build something that's just an imagination, and set yourself free. Shut down the courtroom the narcissist has put in your mind. I'm Dr. JWAU. I'll see you in the next episode. Like, share, subscribe, comment, give us your experience. For now, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for coming in. Bye for now.